What would you say if I told you Uber, it's 100% at war with its own drivers? There's just really no other way to look at it, to think about it, to explain it. Um, so over the last couple days, I've been doing a couple different things. I did some cherry picking. I did some accepting, not every single ride, but accepting the large majority of rides. Um, and I gotta say, I don't understand Uber's thinking other than they just have become too big to really rein in and do anything about. Yeah, I mean it's really kind of crazy the results that I've been seeing. Um, and we'll talk about a couple different things in this video. One thing that has really frustrated me is it seems, at least in my opinion, it seems like there's absolutely really no difference between driving Uber X, Uber Comfort, or Uber XL. You know, especially Uber Comfort and Uber X. Those prices, I'm seeing better prices on Uber X than I'm seeing on Uber Comfort most of the time. But when you look at the passenger side of the app and you look and see what's being charged for Comfort compared to X, it's considerably more. And it makes no sense. And I'll include a bunch of screen captures at the end of this video so you guys can go in and look for yourselves and tell me what your thoughts are. You know, drop a comment, let me know what you think. But it's one of those things where, you know, it's very frustrating. And I'll be honest, it's a little depressing. I've been doing this job for 12 years almost now, and I like it. I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy the freedom that it gives me. I enjoy the schedule that I can keep doing it. But it's getting to the point, especially since November of 2025, it's getting to the point where it's really fast becoming just not sustainable. You know, I hate to be the guy to say that because I'm pretty positive about driving rideshare. Like I said, I like it. I like driving for Uber and I like driving for Lyft. Both companies just need to change their behavior. They need to start paying drivers what they're worth, because right now, when you run all the numbers, and I went to 3 different AI systems. I went to Gemini, which is Google's AI. I went to Claude, and I went to ChatGPT, and I put the same exact numbers and the same exact question, and asked them, you know, hey, calculate this. And I asked it to calculate it several ways. I asked it to look at, to include the miles to picking the passenger up plus then dropping them off. I asked them to look at it from a per mile basis. I asked them to look at it from a hourly basis. And that's where we went wrong. You know, this whole screaming about we need to make X amount of dollars per hour. I really believe that allowed Uber and Lyft to pay us less, because what they were able to do at that point is they were able to easily separate the amount of time you spend on app compared to the amount of time that you have a passenger in the car. So what they were able to do is they were able to take a $7, $8 ride and say, hey, look, this ride, it equals $38 an hour, or it equals $29 an hour, because they were able to say, look, if they were to have we're paying them at the rate that would pay $29 an hour. But we all know that's false, because they pay a lot less on long distance rides. And I think if you were able to have a large enough data set, it would reflect that. It's hard for individual drivers to get that really big data set. But I think if you were, and when I say really big, I mean if you were to take, you know, I bet you if you were to take every single Uber and Lyft ride that was done on the planet in a month and do all, you would see that drivers they're not being paid what we're they're telling us. At least I think so. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I mean, that's really not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that Uber, they're at war with drivers, plain and simple. There's really no other way to explain it or say it. And I hate being the guy to say it because, I'm not angry. I made the decision to be an Uber driver. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I actually enjoy the job. And I'll probably still go out there and drive. I mean, what else am I going to do during the day? But I think everybody who's going to drive Uber and Lyft needs to realize up front that it's probably going to be a break-even proposition at best, okay? And there's several reasons why I say that it's going to be a break-even proposition. Even if you're like me and you don't really calculate the depreciation of your vehicle and you're looking at your car like, okay, your car is a tool, it's a hammer, you got to use the hammer to hit the nail. And at the end of your 5 or 7 years, you're going to get rid of it and get a new one. So you're really not worried about pulling money back out of that car. You've extracted that vehicle's value while you were driving, during that time. Plus some of it. I mean, if you paid 40 grand for a car and you made 70 grand a year for 5 years, you extracted much more than 40 grand back out of that car. But even looking at it that way, it's getting harder and harder to justify sitting out there, especially you're sitting in your car for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Some people, I've seen drivers who are out there for much, much longer than 12 hours. Is it worth it? If you're looking at it, granted, you may not be driving that entire time, but the app is on. So the longer the app is on and you're not getting rides or you're not making money, the lower your hourly rate goes to. Because at the end of the day, you are sitting in your car, you're working, your app is on. It makes you wonder. I mean, there's got to be a way that this can be profitable for everybody. And I understand it's not Uber and Lyft's job to make it profitable for drivers. But you know what? Maybe it should be. Maybe it should be. We are the ones that are taking on the biggest risk. We're out there driving our vehicles or vehicles that we've rented. Okay. We're risking damage to our vehicles. And if I had a nickel for every time that Uber turned around or Lyft turned around and tried to say that something was normal wear and tear, when it isn't, when a passenger clearly tore a seat or clearly scratched or dented your car, that's not normal wear and tear. That is the result of abnormal behavior. That's the result of a passenger walking up to your car and not caring if they do damage or not, holding their keys in their hands as they open the car, or holding a Stanley Cup or whatever. It's these things. There are a lot of things that need to be addressed with Uber and Lyft, but I can tell you right now, if you're going to go out here and you're going to do this job and you're going to be an Uber or Lyft driver, it's not like it used to be. Okay, it is not what it used to be. You're not going to make boatloads of money. Okay, things have changed. Something changed right around November, November of 2025. And that change, I think, is completely in swing. And I basically think that change is the Uber's and Lyft's AI system really narrowing down the drivers that are willing to drive for very, very little money, which is sad because they're taking advantage of people. So you've got that combination, and you've got that other relentless battle going on between a human being's brain, who is taking in a lot of different variables and thinking about them at the time, and the AI, which is designed to do one thing, and that is maximize and extract the most money that it can out of the passenger, but also the driver. So, it's a constant battle. And that's why I say Uber's at war with its drivers, is because it is a constant battle to try and make, kick the camera, and try and make money in this industry anymore, because you always are struggling against this relentless, AI, artificial intelligence, that is, it's never ending. And you always have to be right. Every ride that you pick, you got to be right, or you're losing money on the rides that you're not 100% right on. The problem is I don't think you can get a lot of rides right. I do think there's still money to be made out there driving, but I think the only time that drivers can drive and make good money is probably evenings, late afternoons and evenings on weekends. I mean, these rides that are coming through during the week, they're pennies, okay? People going to work and coming home from work, it's getting less and less, especially going to work in the mornings. They're the rides, what they pay, it really is very, very low. So again, if you're going to do this job, if you're new to driving Uber, if you're a new Uber driver, or you're a new Lyft driver, these are some things you need to think about. You need to think very carefully about. It's unfortunate if this is the only thing that you can do. But if it's not the only thing that you can do, this is not the gig that it used to be. You're not going to come out here. It's very difficult. Yes, you can still come out and make $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, but you're going to spend a lot of time in your car, okay? You're going to spend at least 10 hours a day in your car, at least 6 days a week, I would think. You might get away with 5, depending on your market, where you're in that car 10, 11, 12 hours, maybe a little bit more, to make that $1,000, $1,100. And then you have to look at, what did it cost me to do it? It's kind of at the point where, especially as the cost of driving is going up and up and up. And I don't just mean fuel and charging your electric cars. I'm talking about the cost of tires, the cost of brakes. I mean, pretty much anytime you get tires, even if it's a small vehicle with, 17, 18-inch tires, you're still, or 17, 18-inch rims, you're still looking at probably, $100 a tire. So you're still looking at $400. So it's one of those things where you really have to pay attention to everything involved and say, is this something that I want to, invest this kind of money in? And if you're renting a car, you're running into this kind of the same situation. You might be limited on when you can drive the car. Can you only drive it for Uber and Lyft, or one or the other? You might not be able to drive for both. Are your personal miles being limited to the point where it's not worth having? You might work the first 3 or 4 days, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, just to pay for the car. I don't know if that's worth it or not. I don't know if it's worth it to, I don't think it would be worth it to me. I don't think that would drive me nuts. So again, think about this long and hard. If you're really thinking about getting into driving Uber and Lyft, think about it long and hard before you do, and look at all the costs, because, I have been Uber and Lyft's champion. I still love doing it. But at this point, I'm starting to question why. There's other things that you can do as a side hustle out there. There's other gig jobs that you can do that are probably easier on your vehicle. I mean, for my gosh, if you were to go out and drive like Amazon Flex, or what's the one, Spark, or whatever it is for Wichita, for Walmart, there's just so many other things that you can do as your own business. Let's be honest, Uber and Lyft drivers, we don't own our own business. We operate as an independent contractor, but we're not very independent. There's other things you can do as a side hustle that you can turn into a very profitable business. I mean, my gosh, instead of going out and buying a car, go out and buy a small box truck or van, okay, and get into the delivery side of the business and deliver packages. You know, I think that at this point, that may even be more profitable. I don't know. That's something I'm going to look into. And I have some people I know that are into it, and I can talk to them about it. And I'll let everybody know. But as a matter of fact, I might do this when I get done the video. I might call them. But there's just, like I said, there's a lot of other things that you can do to earn money as a side hustle that could be very, very profitable. Uber and Lyft, you know, they might be kind of pushing drivers aside. It's more and more looking that way with these AVs, although I think the autonomous vehicles are going to bite them in the butt. But, you know, that's for a future date to decide. Right now, who knows what's going to happen with it. So, again, think about it long and hard. I hope everybody's having a great weekend, and, you know, go out there and drive if you want to. If not, start looking for something else to do. There's other side hustles, and I think they're probably a little bit more profitable than Uber and Lyft, where you might not just be, you know, trading the equity in your car for 98% on the dollar. Because that's what it looks like. That's what the math looks like. It looks like you're kind of trading about 98% of the value of your vehicle. You're getting that back instead of getting it, you know, 5 years down the road if you were to trade it in. I don't know. Anyhow, I hope everybody had a great weekend. It's Sunday afternoon. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much. Take care.